Captain Sarah Martinez stepped onto the planet's surface with barely contained excitement. After months of negotiations, humanity had finally been granted access to Serenity Prime, the galaxy's only Class 0 world, a perfect paradise where nothing could possibly harm visitors. Gravity's at 0.3 g, atmosphere is optimal, temperature holding steady at 22 degrees Celsius, reported Lieutenant Chin, checking his scanner. No predators, no pathogens, no weather patterns. It's exactly as advertised. Sarah bounced slightly in the low gravity, grinning. After growing up on Earth, this feels like a vacation resort. No wonder the Galactic Council uses this place for diplomatic meetings. The rest of the human exploration team emerged from their shuttle, marveling at the perpetual twilight created by the planet's 3 distant suns. Soft, bioluminescent grass glowed beneath their feet, and the air smelled faintly of vanilla. The Zephyrians were right, Dr. James Park said, kneeling to examine the vegetation. Everything here exists in perfect harmony. No competition, no evolution, just existence. That's when Private Williams sneezed. It wasn't a particularly violent sneeze by human standards, but in the pristine silence of Serenity Prime, it sounded like thunder. The glowing grass beneath him immediately turned brown, withering in a rapidly expanding circle. What the hell? Williams stepped back, but wherever his boots touched, more vegetation died. Sarah's communicator crackled to life. Human vessel, this is Serenity Control. We're detecting massive environmental disruption at your location. Explain immediately. Before Sarah could respond, Chen pointed to a grove of crystalline trees nearby. They were dissolving, their perfect structures collapsing into powder. Captain, I'm reading massive bacterial spread from our position. The microorganisms from Williams' sneeze, they're consuming everything. That's impossible, Park protested, frantically checking his equipment. Our pre-landing sterilization should have worked on a Class 13 Deathworld, Sarah finished grimly. But this ecosystem has zero immunity to anything. No defensive mechanisms at all. The situation deteriorated rapidly. The benign bacteria that humans carried, harmless symbiotes that helped with digestion and immunity, were apocalyptic invaders on Serenity Prime. The planet's organisms had never needed to develop defenses against microscopic threats. Human expedition, you must leave immediately. The Zephyrian controller's melodious voice had turned shrill. You're destroying 1 billion years of perfect evolution. Sarah watched in horror as the devastation spread outward like wildfire. The bioluminescent grass blackened, the crystal trees crumbled, and even the vanilla-scented air began to smell of decay. Small, harmless creatures, things that looked like floating jellyfish made of light, began dropping from the sky. Everyone back to the shuttle. Full quarantine protocols, Sarah barked. As they retreated, Williams looked stricken. I'm sorry, Captain. I didn't mean to. It's not your fault, Sarah said, though her heart was heavy. We didn't understand. How could we? We come from a world where everything is trying to kill everything else. Our bodies are walking weapons platforms, carrying trillions of microorganisms that we've evolved alongside for millions of years. They barely made it to orbit before Serenity Control implemented planetary quarantine. Through the viewports, they could see the spreading blight, a dark stain across the perfect world. The Council is convening an emergency session, Chun reported quietly. They're discussing whether humanity is too dangerous to remain in the galactic community. Park laughed bitterly. We've survived supervolcanoes, ice ages, plagues, and nuclear war. But we might get kicked out of the galaxy for sneezing. Sarah stared at the dying world below. We're not meant for paradise, she realized. We're shaped by conflict, adapted to chaos. Put us in a perfect environment and we don't thrive, we destroy. The return journey to Earth was silent. The crew had learned a terrible truth. Sometimes the most dangerous thing about coming from a death world wasn't their strength or resilience, it was that they carried their death world with them wherever they went. When they finally received word from the Council, it wasn't expulsion. Instead, it was a new classification, humans, biohazard level 13. They would be welcome in the galaxy, but only in full environmental suits on certain worlds. At least we're still members, Chin offered optimistically. Sarah nodded, though she couldn't shake the image of that perfect world dying from a single human sneeze. Yeah, but now everyone knows the truth. We don't conquer death worlds, we create them.